Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories.
This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user I Might Cause a Divorce. Am I the a-hole for telling my dad that if he doesn't shape up, my mom was going to leave him? I have never posted on Reddit before, so sorry if this goes against the guidelines or anything. For context, I am a 16-year-old girl and my dad is a 57-year-old man. I love my parents a lot, and I'm so grateful for all the things they do to provide for me. However, me and my dad have always had a bit of a strange relationship. He is not good at communicating, and sometimes it feels like I can't talk to him about anything. This does bother me, but the real issue in our house is that my mom does everything. Every day, she makes dinner, does the dishes, laundry, etc. On top of this, she recently started remotely working full-time again, and she is currently going back to college to get her master's degree. I do everything I can to help her out, but I can only do so much. My dad works full-time, and that's it. He never does any chores or helps around the house. He does work a labor-heavy job, and I understand it's tiring. But he could at least give our dog a bath or make dinner for himself or something. Both me and my mom have said many times that we want him to help around the house, and he always says he will, but he never does anything. He did the dishes a couple of times, but he didn't do it thoroughly enough and there was still food on them, so my mom had to rewash them. I've gotten really tired of this, as it's been going on for years. Well, here is where I might be the a-hole. This happened 3 days ago. My mom was in class that night, so she hadn't gotten an opportunity to do the laundry yet, and there was a basket of dirty clothes in my parents' room. My dad offhandedly remarked, "Gee, there's sure a lot of dirty clothes lying around." This made me really annoyed. I told him that he was a grown man and if he wanted clean clothes, he could do a load of laundry himself. My dad looked surprised at this and told me to calm down. I have a tendency of speaking harshly to people when I'm irritated, and this was unfortunately one of those moments. So I told him that, I swear to God, if you don't shape up and start doing some actual work around here, Mom is gonna want a divorce. I knew immediately I shouldn't have said it, and he left the room looking really angry. Not sure if it's relevant, but he has been married 2 times before my mom. I told my mom about this, and she says that while he should do more work, what I said was really mean and the divorce comment was completely unnecessary. When my dad got home from work the next day, I tried to apologize, but he completely ignored me and just went outside. It's been 3 days and he hasn't said a word to me, even though I've tried to say sorry multiple times. My house is now really tense since my dad is also mad at my mom because he thinks she wants to get a divorce. I feel horrible, but honestly, deep down I still agree with the comment I said to him. So am I the a-hole? Well, personally, OP, no, you're not the a-hole. You were just giving your dad your opinion regarding the whole situation, and he should be helping out some more. If he didn't like what you said and is icing you out, is because there is some truth to the words that you said and it hurt him. Honestly, OP, I don't think you should apologize for it or keep apologizing. You tried once. He brushed you off or ignored you. That's enough. If you continue to chase him to say you're sorry, you're just giving him more power basically, and that his argument is the right one. Even though he has absolutely no argument because he refused to say anything and just stormed off because apparently your words scratched him a little. So no, OP, not the a-hole. Stop apologizing or chasing him. Talk to him normally, and if he doesn't reply, then just don't talk to him at all. One of the things I've learned in life is that when somebody kicks themselves out, they come back without an invitation. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. And now let's check out the community comments. Itchy Radio 7306 says, "Not the a-hole. As a daughter of a man very similar to the way you described your father, he is using weaponized incompetence and the silent treatment as manipulation. You weren't out of the realm of possibilities by saying what you said. I know because after 18 long years, my mom finally divorced my dad. It may have sounded harsh to him, but that's because people with no accountability for their actions will always feel attacked. I hate to say it, but it sounds like your mom would be better off without him. As far as the silent treatment goes, It hurts, and it's childish and annoying, but the best thing you can do is look straight through him. Play the game back. It won't take long before he's pretending like everything is fine again and he's waited on hand and foot. AJ Alva says, not the a-hole. My favorite part of this is you voicing concerns you and your mother share about his lack of help around the home. And his response is to go hide in a shed rather than actually doing anything to fix the problem. Did he ever do the laundry? I feel like you also have to explain to your mother how this makes you feel, that she is constantly placing your dad's feelings and comfort over both of yours. Is this the kind of relationship she wants for you when you are older? Also, make it clear that it's pretty impossible to drift away from only one parent after moving out. You don't want to get to a point, in a few short years, where you stop coming around at all because you don't want to watch, hear, or deal with it anymore. Academic Exchange 864 says, not the a-hole. I think you were a little outside of your bounds, but you should realize that you're 16 and you really shouldn't step into your parents' marital problems. It's frustrating and unfair, but snapping won't solve anything. He's acting like a child by just ignoring you, so maybe just let it go. He has heard you're sorry, you don't have to repeat it. Your only job as a kid is to learn from your parents, especially their mistakes, and carry those lessons into the future. Just tell your mom you are there for her and do your best to live your childhood without worrying about your dad's problems. Be a kid and let the adults deal with it. Don't let this rest on your shoulders. And Stella Noir says, not the a-hole. I don't understand these comments saying, but you as a child hurt your dad's feelings and therefore you're just as culpable. He's a grown man. Tell his Gen X ass apathy isn't cool and you don't get to ignore your child for telling you harsh things. You're still in learning mode for how all this works, and your father being unable to showcase healthy emotional responses days later is a disservice to you both. Yes, it was harsh. Maybe it was even out of line, but you're much more aware of your parents' relationship dynamic than anyone on this forum. Maybe your mom would never leave him. Maybe she's thinking about it once you go to college. But dad needs to be able to hear harsh things sometimes and react like an adult in the room. Alright, well, the majority agrees that OP is not the a-hole. Some people say she shouldn't have said what she said. I think it was okay. She had a grievance and she took it up with the right person. Now, the reaction of the dad, yeah, childish at 57 at best. But anyways, let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone on my post who commented about their opinions on why I was or wasn't an a-hole. Everyone was very kind and you all gave great feedback. The verdict on my post ended up being not the a-hole, though a lot of people said it wasn't my place to speak on behalf of my mom like that. After thinking about it, I agree. My dad was being a jerk, but I really shouldn't have put words in my mom's mouth. Now for the update. About 2 days after I had posted on here, my parents sat me down and said they wanted to talk. I was prepared to get a lecture about how what I said was out of line, but that's not what happened. Apparently, the reason my dad had gotten so upset at the comment I made was that it hit a little too close to home. It turns out my dad has been cheating on my mom for about a year with one of his co-workers, and my mom found out a few months ago. The reason she went back to work was because she needed financial independence to get divorced. They said they hadn't been planning on telling me, but my dad decided I was mature enough to know the truth and that I deserved to know. They said they would probably be separated by the end of the year. This situation was completely out of left field, to be honest, because while my dad might not have been the best at doing the dishes, I never thought he would have an affair. My dad has talked to me about how he was so sorry for what he's been doing and that he hoped I didn't view him differently. I've tried to be kind and not say any more unnecessary comments, but I did let him know that I was really disappointed in him. I needed to get out of the house, so I've been staying with my friend for the last couple of days and processing everything. So while what I said to him might have been crappy, it resulted in me finding the truth about what was going on, so I'm kind of glad. I can only imagine what my mom has been feeling, so I've been trying to help her out as much as I can. I've actually met the woman he was cheating with at some of my dad's work events, before I knew what was going on, of course. but I am not sure how old she is. If I were to guess, I'd say she's in her late 30s. My mom is 51, turning 52 in a few months, and he never ended up doing the laundry. Crying emoji. I'm sorry that this update isn't the happiest thing, but overall I am doing okay. And thank you again to everyone who commented on my first post. I appreciate it a lot. Well, OP, your dad is most definitely a scumbag. So this whole, oh, I think you're mature enough to know, yeah, go get bent, you cheater. OP, I'm sorry you're gonna have to go through this, but at least you have your mom. So here's wishing you both the best in the future. Take care and thanks for sharing. Now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user Am I Being Weird? Am I the a-hole for telling my husband to not bring his sick ex to our house and not get personally involved in nursing? So, I am 35 female and my husband is 39 male. We have been married for 5 years. Before marrying me, he was with his high school sweetheart for a decade. Apparently, they had compatibility issues and then lost contact. Now his ex has got a kidney failure and is on dialysis and has come in our city for treatment, and according to my husband, she contacted my husband through a mutual friend and now my husband wants to help her. Very politely I had asked my husband, does she not have her own people to help and nurse her? Why contact him all of a sudden after years? My husband was pissed and said, how can I be so petty and immature regarding a patient asking such stupid questions, and that he expects better from me. Then I said, if the situation is so dire, then let's get her a place in our flat that's in another locality. And if you're so adamant, then let's finance her nursing facility. Whatever is needed of getting personally involved like a nurse, and that I don't want to get involved in personally nursing his ex or in her medical recovery process in person, nor do I want to see her in the hospital with him. And my husband said he is just disappointed in me, that I am showing jealousy over a long-ended relationship and cannot show maturity even with a patient. So, am I the a-hole? Lopi, I kinda wanna judge this like you're not the a-hole, but I've got a question. Is your husband a doctor in a hospital and the ex is going to go to that hospital? Because you mentioned twice that he refers to her as a patient, not as his ex or an old friend. So, if the situation is that he wants to move his ex into your home, then yeah, not the a-hole. Now, if she would be a patient in the hospital and he would be the treating physician, then he should remove himself from it, because you shouldn't have a connection with a patient like that. Right? I mean, there's a reason why doctors do not operate on family members. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Friend Lily says, not the a-hole. This is not jealousy. It sounds like he wants to be the hero and take her in, but do none of the actual work. Also, it is inappropriate. This is his ex and they don't even know each other anymore. I would die on this hill. If he brings her to your home against your will, you should leave to stay with family or friends. I bet he gets a nurse or gets her out real quick when he has to do the caretaking. Downtown Training 578 says, quote, and my husband said he is just disappointed in me and that I am showing jealousy over a long-ended relationship and cannot show maturity even with a patient. End quote. He is gaslighting you. If my wife would propose something like this, she would be out the door faster than you can say nursing. Kalakmak says, caring is one thing and caretaking quite another. Once he starts to help, it is quite possible that her needs will increase. It is also important to consider that her condition may be long-lasting, not the a-hole. No Hold 8178 says, something is fishy about the response. Kinda sounds like gaslighting. Not sure if I have enough context for a judgment, but he is asking a lot of you to bring one of his exes into your home. Could be because it's in writing that you offered to help in other ways. Sounded sarcastic, but I still feel his response is rather strong for him making a big ask of you. I would possibly ask the same question, but understand that you are not obligated to say yes. And Fresh Scallion 602 says, did he really say he wanted the ex to move in? And OP responds, yes he did. He said it will be better if she's in close-ups. I don't know, I just feel uncomfortable. I am not accusing him of anything, nor do I have anything against that woman, but I feel sick. Well, the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole, and with that last response, yeah, definitely not the a-hole. The husband is a huge a-hole trying to move the ex into the house. In any case, let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. I tried to have another conversation with my husband, and my parents are soon visiting my house, but I don't think we have made any progress. I talked pretty politely that it is very unfair to me and my boys. I have two 3-year-old twins, that he is willing to be an emotional support tool to an ex and is so hell-bent to be at her side. Caring about acquaintances is a different thing, but issuing things like being an emotional support tool, caretaker, all this should be exclusive to one's spouse. And issuing it to any third party, even if it's a platonic female friend, would be the foundation stone for an emotional affair, let alone issuing it to an ex. He told me that it is tragic that I don't trust him even after being together for 9 years. We dated 4 years, have been married for 5, and accusing him of having an affair. He said that it is natural for people to care about their loved ones, acquaintances, especially when they are sick, and being an emotional support tool, being a caretaker, being at one's people's side is the bare minimum one can do and does not automatically translate into an emotional affair. And it is sad that I am so narrow-minded that I'm taking offense in him being personally involved with his ex. He continued that ideally, I too should have volunteered to help his ex, visited her, consoled her, shown some empathy instead of being an insecure person. I said, I am not negating the fact that we should help a sick person and we get nurses and doctors involved and assist financially, but you offering emotional intimacy to her does not go down my throat. He once again said, tossing just money to a sick person is so cold-hearted on my part, and the patient needs to see that people are available to her. To which I said, I am not obliged to be available for her, nor are you. Nobody will blame you for not taking responsibility of your ex's life troubles. He cut me in between and said what a selfish take and how he will be selfish to not respond properly to a person asking help. Clive, one of my twins, woke up and our conversation ended. I don't see this ending well at all. I can sense myself getting divorced. What effing hurts is the gaslighting and guilt tripping, like he is making me out to be the villain. Our finances are blended and I'm looking forward to disentangle them, but while it's happening in the background, I will give my marriage a last try with the involvement of my parents. What's funny is that our house is entirely my property, not a joint asset, as he has the audacity to think he will dislocate his ex in my home, which is mine in every sense. I earn more than my husband. I have been a bigger contributor in every responsibility, be it financial or familial, yet he cannot keep one boundary of mine. My gut says either he is having an affair or will have one very soon, though I have never mentioned it in person. Things are not looking good. Well, OP, I think you're absolutely right. Things are not looking good. Now, if you want to keep giving your marriage a chance, sure, but it's a good thing that you'd be doing the work behind the scenes in order to get your financials untangled and all your other ducks in a row. So in the meantime, here's wishing you the best, OP. Thanks so much for sharing and take care. And now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user BusinessWolf5599. Making them cold just seemed like the right thing to do. I used to work in a retirement village with a communal restaurant or dining room. There was this awful family who, despite being only a 15-minute drive away from the village, would almost never visit their mother. We can call the mother Sam. Sam was kind. Sam's family were constantly neglecting to provide items such as clothing, and most of Sam's valuables had, in my opinion, been stolen by them. As they were the power of attorney for financial, personal, and health matters, nothing legally could be done, apparently. Fast forward to a hot Australian Christmas day. The village is hosting a Christmas lunch for the old people who didn't manage to go out for the day. Families were welcome, but you had to book ahead. The invitation clearly said to bring a jumper, that's a sweater or jersey, as the air conditioning was very cold to cater for the constant opening of the dining room doors with guests coming and going. Naturally, Sam's family failed to book a seat and had to be accommodated last minute. Naturally, they were the ones without a jumper. I got the privilege of finding them a place to sit, so I dressed Sam in an extra warm, nice outfit and set up the table under the big main air conditioning vent. 10 minutes later, Sam's annoyed son and daughter-in-law approached me and asked, "Can you please turn down the air conditioning? It is too cold." "Yep, no problem, I can do that," I said. And I did. I turned that AC down an extra 4 degrees. I think to 16 degrees Celsius if memory serves. Sam's family left earlier than any other family, and Sam was able to spend the rest of Christmas with people who spoke to her like she was a human being. Well, they wanted you to turn down the AC, and that's exactly what they got. And then Sam enjoyed Christmas. Thanks so much for sharing, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.